So, the Super Mario Galaxy movie is the sequel to the very well-received 2023 Super Mario Bros. Movie, and it's coming out this year, very soon in fact. As you can probably tell, if you're a gamer, that this movie shares the exact same title as the very popular 2007 Nintendo Wii game, Super Mario Galaxy. Now, given that this is the sequel to one of the most popular and highest-grossing animated films of 2023, it's safe to say that almost everyone is excited for this movie, whether you're a Mario fan or not. I say almost everyone because, as you can probably tell by this title, there is one person who is not looking forward to this movie. Me. What? Now, before you go ahead and start typing away and telling me that I'm just being a hater for no reason, and let's be honest here, you probably already typed that before you even started watching the first 5 seconds of this video, take it back. Alright, jokes aside, let me just say that I enjoyed the first Super Mario Bros. Movie. I want to get that out of the way. I thought it was fun, well animated. I even made a good review for it on my YouTube channel, which you can check out in the links up above. And yes, I did make a video sharing my concerns about the movie before it came out, or I released it on the day of the movie's release date, and I swear I was rushing. But in that video, I talked about what I feared Illumination, the studio, would get wrong with the Mario movie. For this movie, however, as you can probably tell by the title, I have zero hope in this movie actually being good, or is respectful toward the source material itself. Now, for a video like this, I usually give 3 points as to why I believe a movie will either not be good or will have problems. For this video, however, I really just have only 2 concerns. Now, will that mean this video will be shorter than my other concern videos? No guarantees can be made on that. So, with that out of the way, grab a drink, grab your favorite Italian dish, and don't forget to trim your bonsai bush, because right now, I'm going to explain why I'm not excited for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. For this video, I want to do something a little different. I actually want to start with the things that I like about the movie based on the trailers that I've seen so far. Well, first and foremost, the animation is pretty good. It's colorful, it's lively, it's very engaging, and very appealing. I also want to talk about the one thing other than the animation that I think this movie got right, which will lead into my first concern, that being the voice actors. In particular, let's talk about the new characters that they're introducing in this movie, starting with Princess Rosalina. And the reason I want to talk about this character is that I think the casting choice for her is pretty good. I think Brie Larson voicing Rosalina was a good choice on Illumination's part. Now, do I like Brie Larson? Well, I'd be lying if I said yes. I've only watched the 2 Captain Marvel movies that she's been in. The first one I did not like, and the other one I found to be atrocious. I like her better in the Marvels. I think her acting was a lot better. And no, I don't think she will ruin the Super Mario Galaxy movie. From the footage I've seen of Brie Larson speaking as the character of Rosalina, I think her voice is a pretty good fit for Rosalina, given that as a character, she's a motherly and compassionate type of princess, especially towards the Lumas, and Mario too in the game. And when I hear Brie Larson voicing Rosalina in, say, the trailers, I can't think of anybody else who would do a better job than her. So yeah, I actually really like this casting choice on Illumination's part. Brie Larson is far from being the worst new voice actor to join the Super Mario movie cast, especially when compared to the 2 other new characters that are appearing in this movie. Like Yoshi. Alright, this character should have been an easy one for Illumination to do right. All they had to do was have a voice actor that could replicate the voice actor for Yoshi in the games. Or literally just get the guy who does Yoshi's voice in the games. But instead, Illumination, in their infinite wisdom, decided to cast Donald Glover? Now, to be fair, his Yoshi voice isn't awful, it's just fine. He's too whiny in some of the trailers, in my opinion. Like the one where he's running away from the giant Super Mario Odyssey T-Rex. I thought that was not a good voice that I heard coming out of Yoshi's mouth. But I am hoping Glover does make noises that Yoshi would make in the games. I'm keeping my fingers crossed on this one. It's more likely he's going to make the kind of Yoshi sounds an everyday person would imagine Yoshi would make, rather than what he actually sounds like in the games. But, as a Yoshi fan myself, I am hoping he does a good job compared to the last one on the new voice actors list. And if you've seen the trailers already, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Roll the clip.
From the ashes of his father's defeat rises a new conqueror.
Oh my gosh! What on earth is that? What is that? That doesn't look or sound like Bowser Jr. at all. That looks like a demon wearing Bowser Jr.'s skin for a covering. I mean, look at those eyes. They're so ugly. It's like he got an eye transplant and the donor was King Boom Boo from Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, it would explain why he wears sunglasses in Sonic Racing Crossroads, but that's a whole nother story. Aside from his appearance, which looks mostly like his character in the games, his voice is just flat out wrong. First of all, who even is Benny Safdie? I mean, I know he's a director of some movies like Uncut Gems, which I didn't like, personally, not my style. But who on earth decided that he would be a good voice actor for someone like Bowser Jr.? A character who, in the games, he sounds like a mischievous child, like someone who's going to cause trouble. Not like someone who is in the middle of puberty. Out of all the new voice casts for this movie, this one is the one where I'm just like, no, this is bad. They should have picked another guy. This is a terrible casting choice on Illumination's part. And I just praise them for making a good Rosalina cast. Good grief. All right, now that I've talked about the things that I'm least concerned about regarding this movie, it's time to talk about that one thing which really has me concerned here. And I mentioned it in my first Mario movie video, and I thought it wasn't that bad of an issue, but my mind has changed as time has passed. So with that out of the way, let's just get right to it. My biggest concern for the Super Mario Galaxy movie being made by Illumination Entertainment is... Now, before I start my concern rant here, I just want to say that I didn't used to hate Illumination. In fact, I just saw them as another animation studio when I was younger who made movies that I enjoyed and I sometimes laughed at. But as time passed and got older, I started watching a lot of YouTube. And yeah, don't do that, kids. It's not good for your health. And what I noticed is that a lot of content creators that I would watch would hate on Illumination. And I thought to myself, I wonder why they don't like Illumination. I don't see any reason as to why they might be bad. I still think they make good movies. I enjoy what I've seen from them for the most part. So for a time, I didn't let their opinions bother me. I just stuck to my guts and thought nothing of it. But then something happened. I watched 2 Illumination movies, and after I was done watching them, I was mad because I had noticed issues in them that I had never seen before in an Illumination film. And I wasn't just like mad, I was really angry. And they changed my perspective on Illumination as an animation company. In order to explain my views on Illumination right now, I want to go over those 2 movies that I watched. The first movie we're going to look at is the 2023 film Migration. You probably forgot that this film even came out, or you probably never even heard of it at all. What is it about, you might ask? Well, simple really. It's Finding Nemo, but with ducks. That's basically the plot, except nobody's getting kidnapped. It's just about a family of ducks migrating from their pond to fly south, and that's pretty much the only thing that makes it somewhat different from Finding Nemo. It does, however, share some similarities with Nemo, like the father duck. He doesn't want to go migrating because he's so comfortable in his pond, and he's voiced by one of the most unfunny comedians out there right now, and he feels so cozy in his pond, he doesn't want to migrate like all other ducks do, so then his family begs him to leave, so then he agrees, and then all the ducks fly, and then they run into many dangers and characters that could either kill them or eat them. Or both. However, unlike Finding Nemo, where the story is about a father fish who is trying to rescue his son and has to face his fear of the ocean, and does that by facing some sea creatures that pose a very legitimate threat to his life and him reaching his goal of finding his son, the danger level in Migration is non-existent, or it's just forced into this story. Like, they face some serious threats that could actually get them killed, but you don't feel any sense of fear or concerned about the ducks and how they're in danger because you don't get a chance to care about the ducks, and that leads to a lot of the danger moments being compromised or just non-existent at all. For example, there's this scene towards the beginning of the movie where the ducks meet a heron who gives them shelter for the night to avoid a rainstorm. Now, if you don't already know, herons do in fact eat ducks. And the heron in this movie is acting very suspicious, like she wants to eat the ducks. And you think the movie leads you to believe that she's going to eat them while they're sleeping. However, it turns out when the ducks try to escape and it seems like the heron's going to go after them and eat them, that the movie does a random bait and switch on you and reveals that the heron was really after a fish that was swimming around in their shelter. And then she uses that fish and says, "We're going to eat that for breakfast." And then she has them sleep with her and her crazy husband who can't talk, and then she lets them go in the morning. As a result, you feel cheated out of a moment where the ducks could have grown as characters by being in danger and trying to find a way to escape from this heron if it was actually trying to eat them. And like I said, it makes the danger level feel non-existent, or like you don't actually care about the ducks. Because, like, if they're in danger, they're just going to get out. And the movie never makes it feel like the world is a super dangerous place. All the movie does is make you wish that you were watching Finding Nemo instead. Because at least Finding Nemo had a danger level in it that made you care about Marlin. And you didn't want him to get eaten whenever he got into danger, because the ocean's a dangerous place and you wanted him to find his son. Migration, however, doesn't have a plot that's as complex as Finding Nemo. Every attempt it makes to get you to like the characters and tries to make the characters have some sort of arc, it never works because it never gives you time to understand the ducks and never allows you to spend time with them. And any attempts to make the ducks have a character arc or make them grow or change as characters, it just feels lazy or thrown out there or random. Even the dad duck's fear of migration, that's resolved rather quickly in the film. It almost feels like it was wrapped up in the background of the film. Like there's no defining scene that will make you point at the screen and say, yeah, that duck actually cares about migrating. He actually is okay with it now. I mean, there's an ending scene where you can tell that happens, but there's no build up to that scene. Also, there's this random villain that the movie decides to throw in halfway through the film, and they try to make you afraid for the ducks because of this film, because he's a chef and he looks like he's going to eat them, but he's more goofy than scary, and you can never take him seriously in this film. However, despite all of the bad in this movie, and those are some pretty major bads, the one good I say this movie has are in its visuals. Like there's a scene where the ducks are flying just among clouds, and it's tinted by the sun, and as I was watching, I started to notice, hey, this actually looks pretty good. It almost felt like I wasn't even watching an Illumination film anymore. The visuals were pretty good for this movie. And there's other scenes like that too in this movie. Like there's a scene where the ducks fly through this city and it's so visually beautiful. Even the cars kind of look realistic. All the scenery and the stuff they fly past, it looks visually appealing and really cool to look at. So, yeah, Migration, not a very good Illumination movie. Although its visuals are pretty good, and there were a couple funny moments in it. But besides that, I can't recommend this one. Unless you're a Danny DeVito fan. He's in this movie as like the old Grandpa Duck, and he's pretty amusing. One thing I will say, though, is that this movie is a masterpiece compared to the next film I want to talk about, Despicable Me 4. Now, if you have not watched this movie yet, then you should consider yourself lucky and avoid this at all costs. I mean, this movie is so bad that the word bad isn't even a good enough word to describe this film. It's awful. Take everything wrong with Migration, that being a not very good story and having characters you don't really care about, and then turn that up to 11. And also throw in some random subplots that go absolutely nowhere, or they're just resolved rather quickly. The main story is supposed to be about Gru stopping this villain that he knew from high school who wants revenge on him for something that I'll get to a little later. But like I said, it's also chock full of these stupid subplots that take up most of the film and distract you from the main plot. For example, Gru has a newborn son and he's trying to get him to like him, but the baby doesn't like him, and then in the end he suddenly likes him for some reason, even though, again, like with Migration, no build-up, no tension, just a forced conclusion. There's also a subplot about Gru's family having to relocate to hide from the Will Ferrell villain, and that means they have new names. Then this leads to a bunch of other subplots that are in this movie, like Lucy trying to adjust to her new job as a hairdresser and destroying this lady's hair in the process, and getting chased around the supermarket in a scene that reminds you of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And then that subplot goes nowhere, and it's just for gags. Gru's daughter Margot has to go to a new school. She doesn't like it there, and we don't know why. We just see the after effects of it. Agnes doesn't want to lie because of her new name, and then that's a subplot that's resolved rather quickly. Gru has to play tennis with a couple that lives next door, and then that scene happens. Then he has to help this girl who wants to rob a villain school of their mascot just so she can get into the school And if he doesn't help her, then she's going to blackmail him and reveal his true identity to the world. And then she gets into the school anyway, even though she just tried to rob it. And then there's the main plot where the villain wants to turn everybody into cockroaches because he thinks they're superior to humans. And he's mad at Gru because he stole his act in a talent show once during high school. And oh my gosh, can you tell why I hate this movie? There is so much stuff just shoved into this film. Like I said, it distracts you from the main storyline. You probably even forgot half the subplots I mentioned. I almost forgot most of the subplots for this movie before I just started doing this video. Just now, I just remembered that there's super minions in this movie. I didn't even remember to put that in the script. And like I said, all these subplots distract from the main storyline, and it leads to this movie just feeling so underdeveloped. And it could have been so much better if they had not wasted it on any of these irrelevant subplots that do absolutely nothing for this film as a whole. Bottom line, do not ever watch Despicable Me 4. Even if you're a big Despicable Me fan, don't ever watch it. Don't buy it on DVD. Don't stream it. Don't ever watch it. Even if you're bored, just don't do it. I swear, you will feel like you have wasted your time and your money. All right, you might be saying to yourself, okay, you make some good points, Haywood, and I'll agree with you for the time being and say that these movies that you just mentioned are bad. What does this have to do with the Super Mario Galaxy movie? Well, pretty much everything, in fact. Based on the official trailers that we've gotten for the Mario Galaxy movie, it looks like it's going to be the exact same level of storytelling quality as Despicable Me 4 with the good visuals that I mentioned earlier. In fact, it doesn't even look like it's going to be a Galaxy movie. It mostly feels like this should be like something like a Super Mario World movie because there's hardly any Galaxy in it. We've only got Rosalina, Megaleg, that one bubble planet that Peach and Toad swim through, and some Star Portal stuff. That's about it. Really, I think Illumination is jumping the gun with its title of Super Mario Galaxy because I feel like the only reason Illumination is doing this movie is to get people into the theaters. They should have just made a Super Mario World movie because it makes more sense, but given that they're showing a lot of grass and trees and flowers and stuff in the trailers, and also a bunch of settings that aren't even in the Super Mario Galaxy game itself. They're just references to other games. On top of that, nothing in these trailers gives me the sense that they have like a connective story to all the footage in the trailers. Like, what's the actual story? Like, is it about Mario rescuing Peach from Bowser, like in the games, and stopping him from conquering the galaxy? Well, I'll bet it's about that last half, but Peach isn't getting rescued in this movie because that's too old-fashioned nowadays. We can't have Mario rescue the princess. People will get bored. They've seen that a million times in the games. It's not like it would actually work. From what I can tell, it just feels like all the characters are going to be going on their separate adventures, which would lead to separate subplots. Like Mario and Luigi have their own subplots with Yoshi. Peach and Toad have their own subplots with whatever these black things are. And Rosalina is also in this movie too, taking out Megaleg, even though that's Mario's job. Oh, but Haywood, why do you care? It's just a kid's movie. Of course this movie is going to be made this way. That right there is why I care. The real Super Mario Galaxy game is one of the most beautiful looking games I've ever played. It is filled with engaging levels and mechanics that keep you hooked, as well as a smooth orchestral soundtrack that you never get tired of listening to. It's a great game that still holds up today, nearly 20 years after it was first released on the Nintendo Wii. More importantly, though, Mario is celebrating his 40th anniversary this year. Did you know that? He's turning 40. That's 40 years of Mario being a video game icon that both kids and adults have enjoyed throughout the years. In fact, I would argue that there are more adults who enjoy Mario than kids, because adults have been playing Mario for even longer than most kids nowadays. In fact, they probably grew up with the first few Mario games that came out on the old Nintendo consoles. An iconic character like Mario should not be put in an animated film aimed at children that is going to be filled with all those problems that I mentioned earlier in the video, but adds nothing to an already paper-thin plot that won't do Mario any justice, or even help him celebrate his 40th anniversary. I do not and cannot trust Illumination to make a good movie that is respectful towards the Mario franchise, towards the characters, or his legacy. I believe in my heart that Illumination will simply use the Super Mario Galaxy movie as a cash grab. That's what this looks like to me. A giant cash grab film. And to top it all off, it comes out on April Fool's Day. But who knows? Maybe I'm the fool here, because in the end, everyone's going to go see it. You're going to go see it. I'm going to go see it to make a review for it, obviously. But who knows? Maybe this film will actually be good. You always got to keep your fingers crossed whenever you have a negative opinion on something, because you never know. Maybe you'll actually like this movie. Maybe I'll like this movie. I like the first one, but who knows? So if you see this video and you've already seen the movie by the time this video comes out, you can drop a comment down below and tell me what a big fool I am since it comes out on April 1st. If you want to share any other opinions you have for the Mario Galaxy movie or the game itself, you can share that in the comments down below too. And if you like my content here, you can hit the subscribe button, the like button, and you can check out my channel to see more content as well. And if you want to stay up to date as to when I make new videos, you can hit that notification bell. Anyway, folks, that's all I've got. I'll see you in my next video when it comes out. So stay tuned, everyone.